The Dreamer by Nicole, Abbey, Chapter 9. Notes. Unexpected turn of events. Researcher admittedly disconcerted. I awoke groggily and with difficulty. I opened my eyes and grimaced in pain. I closed them again until the pain abated somewhat. I could feel the rocking motion I had been so accustomed to by now, moving my bed up and down gently, like a mother rocking her baby. A ship. I was on a ship. I opened my eyes again, just barely able to keep the throbbing in my head at bay. A dreadful sinking feeling in the pit of my stomach. I did not recognize this cabin. It was very small and sparsely furnished and poorly maintained. The captain's things gleamed, testifying of his strict standard of care. But here, the table was blistered and rotting, the chair broken, things were astray and out of place, and I became afraid. I tried to move, but I realized my hands were restrained behind my back. My feet were tied together. I began to panic. I tried to maintain control by reminding myself that panic would neither improve my efforts nor increase my chances of survival, but this technique failed me. I could not decrease my heart rate or bring peace back to my mind. My heart raced and my eyes darted from one thing to another uselessly. I tried to speak, but no words came. I had been gagged. The door opened and a man entered whom I did not recognize. His head was covered with a red bandana, long gray hair in greasy knots hanging down his neck, and he had a gold hoop earring. His leg was missing, a wooden peg attached to the stub. He saw that I was awake and he smiled, showing blackened teeth. I tried to move, tried to speak, 1,000 questions ready to burst forth, but the gag prevented it. He said nothing. He simply scooped me over his shoulder and took me out the door. I wonder if you can imagine the sensations that screamed through me as I perched on the stranger's shoulder, taken to unknown, dark, and dangerous places. I hope so, for I do not think I can precisely explain my apprehension, my torment. Words fail. They do not convey. Fear on paper and fear in one's heart are so dissimilar as to be strangers to each other. I trembled and I whimpered, quite literally frozen in fear. I never knew fear like this before. I did not recognize myself. The stranger carried me to another cabin and dropped me into a chair. I looked up to find Finley on a chair opposite me. I nearly cried in relief to see a familiar face. I tried to talk to him, but all I could do was grunt. "Well, here she be, Finn," the man said in a gruff voice, and tore off the gag. "Oh, John," I gasped. "What's happening? What's going on? Who are these men, and what do they want with us? Where's the captain? Is he hurt? Oh, dear, what has happened to your face?" His eyes were swollen, his lip split and bleeding. He, too, was tied up, his hands behind him. He barely looked at me. He refused to meet my eye. I cried in a trembling voice, "What's happened? Who are these men? What do they want with us? Stop sniveling and be useful." I turned to the stranger who leaned negligently against the table, looking entertained. "Where's the captain?" "Forgive me, Rachel. Forgive me, Rachel," John whispered. "What do you mean, John? It wasn't your fault." "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry," he wept. John sat limply. The stranger came close and bent over John and untied him. He took him by the arm. "Up you go, John boy." "Where are you taking him?" I asked in a panic. "Why, your friend here is being set free, bonny lass," he said happily, showing me his blackened smile. "Set free?" I repeated dumbly. "But why?" "Would ye like to tell her, Johnny boy? Why are we letting you go and keeping the lass with us? What was that? Don't you be want to tell her? You promised not to hurt her. Remember, Marshall, John pled. Yeah, and you know I always be keeping me promises. My hair was suddenly seized, pain shooting through the wound on the back of my head. I cried out as my face was forced up towards the awful stranger. I was kissed violently, his stench as repugnant as his lips. My cry was muffled and useless. She be a pretty little lass, eh, Finny? I struggled with the ropes, causing burns to my wrist. What does he mean, John? What does he mean letting you go? What did you do? Nothing so bad, dearie, the stranger answered. Just helped us get what we want. What do you want? The key, me dear. The legend to the map, and John Boy told us all about you. Me? But how could he? I didn't tell a soul. I stopped and I looked at John keenly. John? He kept his head lowered, still sobbing, quietly. The stranger took him by the arm and escorted him out. Forgive me, Rachel. Forgive me, he pled as he turned to leave. Fat chance of that, I bellowed as he walked out the door looking miserable. I was not alone for long. The stranger re-entered moments later. I tried to twist my arms free or budge the chair forward, but I could do neither. He walked towards me with black intent. Marshall Looper, I said in a voice that was not strong, but it did not waver. He smiled happily. Ye be knowing me, I see. Me reputation precedes me. Precedes, I answered with disdain. Huh? He growled. Precedes, moron. To come or go before in time or significance. In this case, time. You'd said proceeds. To go or continue on. Of course, it could also mean the amount of money collected, but obviously in this case, shut up, wench, he spat and slapped my face. Don't ye ever be insulting me. I had never been slapped in the face before. I had always considered it a rather mild form of punishment, but the sting reverberated through my body, making my head explode. I cried out involuntarily. You mind me, little girl, he sneered, or there'll be more of that. I'll teach you proper respect. To my horror, he withdrew a knife and raised it up to show it to me, but a knock on the door stopped him. Someone entered, demanding the captain tend to the helm immediately. Looper sheathed the knife and walked out the door. In fact, incredibly, he seemed nervous. I looked up and froze, my mouth agape. It was Charles Dubois, the beautiful Duke of Norcross.